What's up, man? Long time.
I know.
Pretty good.
How was traffic?
Oh, wonderful. How was last night?
Terrible. Played and lost and only got 3 hours of sleep. But now we're here.
Oh, what happened?
Lost.
I wonder why.
Well, that's something we're going to talk
You know
about.
who could tell us why
Yes.
you guys lose?
Who?
We have a guest today,
Okay.
and it's a surprise. I don't even need to introduce him. How you doing, Rob?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're definitely one of our top choices because you're very well respected and all that stuff. So yeah, what happened last night?
Man, I don't know. I mean, they obviously played better than us. We didn't know how to counterattack their defense. Their defense really got us frazzled a little bit. Obviously, Anthony, being the big guy that he is, just ate up all the boards. I mean, it's just matchups sometimes. Just gotta adjust. Hopefully, by the time, I think that's the second time we played them. So if we play them again, it will be in the playoffs. So hopefully, if we can make the right adjustments, maybe we'll get a different result.
So who's the vocal guy on your team? Because on my team, it's got Joe. I'm a little vocal, but for you guys, it's
I think that's one thing that we're trying to figure out is who is it. Obviously, the captain is JC. He does a good job of communicating with us. But I think it's I mean, we know that everyone kind of pitches in. I know Sean gives his input. Kevin, Mark, we all talk, but there's no one person that kind of talks over everyone or what I mean, like takes the lead. So
It depends too. Like there's a loud talk and a little timid talk, quiet, if you're talking about loud, that's obviously Rob and Mark there and maybe Sean. So they get their point across and we follow. And me and JC and Joey were like the little tiny voices on the side that would kind of give little opinions here and there.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it's just matchup. We just don't match up well with them. It's hard to match up with someone like Anthony. I think that was a big key last night. And then obviously they had Jello and Oliver, pitching in.
You guys were in. The whole time. Like I was doing the stats yesterday.
We were close, yeah.
You guys were close the whole time, and I don't even know. Like at the end, it was just kind of.
Yeah, fourth quarter, I think we just ran out of gas. It got to the point where, when morale is down, you run out of gas. The other team tends to make a run that really kind of, if you don't match that same energy, that's winning time, right? So they executed well.
Yeah, they did. I was talking to Oliver earlier, actually, talking about the game.
Yep.
He was talking about obviously he's like, what happened to you guys? And I was like, you guys.
Oliver is seriously mid-season MVP. That guy.
He did a lot for them. I mean,
he's doing a lot,
right?
Yeah.
He would get into the seams, get a rebound, get a putback.
9 rebounds.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So,
no, I mean he was definitely a big contributor last night.
They were kind of
for sure. I think. It's part of the game. I mean, if anything, you have the one thing that I always go by is if they're doing that, you tell the referee. If the referee says I don't see it or it's not doing anything, then you have to play through it. Yeah. But I did make them aware. I mean, it is what it is.
How do you like that? How do you feel about the new referee?
I mean, yeah, we're pretty good. I mean, obviously, as a player, if the call doesn't go your way, you're always gonna counter that. You're not gonna agree. It's just how the game is, right? But overall, they're pretty fair.
Yeah, actually, he's refed PBL before, actually with these jerseys, like 10 years ago.
Okay.
I remember his face, and I remember when I saw him, I thought, all right, cool. He's smart. He's a good ref. Because Jody, he messaged me, but he couldn't come because of what happened last.
It's just sort of about the new ref though. Is yesterday we were warming up, stretching down on the baseline, and he was working the baseline, during the game before us, and it says, "Come over here. I want you to see this view." And we're at the baseline, and he says, "This is what I'm seeing. What do you think?" And I was like, "Okay." And then we were watching it, and he always checks in with us and say, "Did you see anything?" I said, "No." Okay, that's it. And then it was just a different perspective coming from the referee saying, "Watch the game as I see it."
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I was like, okay, because I think, who was it? Me and someone else were just on the baseline, and he just told us, "Come over here, take a look at this," which was, like I said, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good, because you can see it in their perspective and stuff. I had a similar experience. We played for the other league in Basel on Saturdays.
Mhm.
There's some refs there that would give you feedback like what you did wrong. Let's say you fouled this guy and you don't agree, and you have no idea how you fouled him. He'll tell you, like,
Correct.
so it's good information.
I've always liked it when the referee is more than willing to give you a reason why he did or didn't make a call. I mean, that's really, as a player, that's all you want, right? Because throughout the progress of the game, you want to make sure that you adjust to the way that the referees are calling the game.
Yeah.
Some tend to call it more physical, some tend to call it more tick-tack. You have to adjust to it as a player. And if they're not willing to give you feedback, you're pretty much just running around trying to figure out what is or isn't a foul.
It's like having a test and no study guide.
Yeah,
exactly.
But they're pretty consistent, right?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, other referees,
Yeah.
They think it's an insult if you ask them, "What did you see?"
Yeah.
And it's really not a knack on them. It's, if anything, it's I just want to understand how you're seeing it, how you're calling it. Then as a player, I can adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times it's, the players have to adjust to the referees too.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I never even thought about that, because that's kind of like a game within a game kind of thing. Where, like,
It's hard for me to adjust because I don't know. I just play one way, and it's
It's true. I was gonna say about
it's like how I play.
Yeah. Ron is hard-nosed defense. He's very physical, and obviously that's how he learned how to play coming up, from Chicago. That's just the way
old school,
the game
90s Bulls,
Yeah.
Pistons. So when I came here, it's totally different. Like, I had to adjust and learn, like, pickup games. Don't go all out. But for a long time, that's right. I would go all out, pickup games, diving, and everything. It's like, oh man, what is he doing?
It's kind of like a etiquette, I guess.
Yeah,
like
hustle,
So. I remember the first time I met Ron, and he told me it's so different when I came here because everyone shoots. I remember that, where you told me back in Chicago, it was all about defense.
Yeah,
everyone takes pride in the defense. Over here, everyone just shoots,
and we only play man. There's no zone.
Even in pickup games.
Only man.
Yeah.
So when I came here, I'm like, zone. But funny story is, so I met Rob. I moved here. Didn't really know anyone. I had my cousins, Jordan, Justin, and then Justin was like, "Hey, I have two guys. You should ask them to join your team." I was like, "Who are they?" He's like, "Oh, these names Rob and Joe." I was like, "Rob and Joe." I'm like, "Are they good?" Like, yeah, dude, they can shoot. I'm like, "Can shoot?" I'm like, "All right." And the first game, I was like, "Holy shit, these guys can shoot!" I'll never forget Rob's first shot. It was on the corner wing. I'm like, "My gosh!" Like,
I remember
dudes can. I'm like, I don't have to do anything. I could just do all the other stuff I like to do.
Yeah, I remember that too. When I remember it was like we were playing Fontana Rims, and Joe goes like, "Hey, Justin's cousin wants to play. Put a team together." I was like, "Who?" This guy Ron. He's pretty good. I'm like, okay.
I don't even know who. How does he know it's pretty good? I wasn't even.
No, that's what he was told by Justin. And I was like, okay. And then that's when I met. I think we played in Ontario, right? Is it FSL or IDA? FSL, yeah. And that's when we started. And then after that, we started playing Fontana, and then we played different leagues and stuff like that. So then with Kevin, I think this is like the first time I've ever played with you was TNT.
Yes.
When you first started there, obviously you were brought up, or you lived where I was brought up when I. When I was younger playing basketball, that was kind of like my backyard was where you're at. So,
yeah.
All right. Let's talk about. We'll take a break. We'll talk about. There's a bunch of questions I know people want to ask you.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good. All right. A couple things I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
That I'm going to ask every player. We talked about this last week a little bit.
Yeah.
What's your your game day routine? Warm up routine.
It really, I mean, the routine starts, with our games being so late at night. I need to make sure that I eat dinner early because I don't want to eat it too late and then it'll be different on the court.
Does, yeah.
So I think you have to adjust to game time, right? Sometimes there's 9 o'clock game, 10 o'clock games. So depending on that, I usually want to eat like 3 or 4 hours before, and then right before you play, I usually when I leave the house, I ask my wife, hey, maybe some apples. I'll just eat some apples and some apple slices, and then that's it. And then once I get to the gym, start to stretch. The biggest thing for me is my hip. My hip.
Do you have any injuries right now?
No, not really. I don't think, other than just general soreness, But yeah, it's the hip. The hip is the biggest thing for me, and then my lower body stuff.
Next game.
No, it's just general stretching. That's all.
It's funny you say that because I recently just started like incorporating that, like my hip stretches, because for me I noticed that mobility is really important and your hip's a big part of it.
Yep.
Because usually you do your little mediocre like leg extensions or like anti-Achilles like flexes and stuff. But yeah, like hip mobility is pretty important.
Big difference. Oh yeah, for sure. It prevents a lot of injuries. But yeah, that's the one thing that I do is my hip, and then after that, just getting loose, upper body, just shooting around a little bit. Working from close, and then kind of stepping back further and further, and then that's it.
So when did you first start playing ball? High school?
No. I mean, as a kid, I played around. I think probably 7 years old. My uncle would put up a basketball court and we would play outside. Didn't really play anything organized when I was a kid.
That's surprising to me.
In West Covina, yeah. Growing up in West Covina, I played in the Walnut Down Bar League, and I remember it was a city league, and then one AAU coach back then. I'm talking about early 90s. Was pretty much non-existent, right? And I guess one coach saw me play and invited me to play with him in a tournament. So my parents said, "Okay, we'll do it," not realizing that the game was in Carson. It's like an hour drive.
Wow.
And as soon as we got there, my parents were like, "We're not doing this again." So they weren't, and which is understandable. I mean, back then, like I said, it wasn't something that was really big like it is now. But that was it. And then
you didn't play.
You
didn't play high school. You didn't play college.
I didn't play high school. No, nothing. I played a lot of pickup games. Yeah.
I thought I had this rumor that you played for high school. Or something.
No, well,
like you're in the team, like you're a varsity.
No, my high school actually, I the area I went to. That was high school. Everyone was a dunker. You have to be able to dunk to be on the team.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like maybe 1 or 2 Filipino. I think the only ones that I know that went there during my time that played varsity was Donald and his brother Denver. That was it. And back then I was like small. I wasn't even maybe 110, 115.
So would you practice a lot by yourself?
No. So here's the thing too. In high school, there's a lot of Filipinos in my school, and what we would do is we would put together what we call a basketball crew. And what we would do is, okay, like on a weekday after school, we'll challenge another team. Say, hey, let's go play pickup games, and then we would just do that.
Oh damn!
And you got that good by just doing that?
No, well that, and then playing leagues. I think the first time I ever played organized was when I was 18 or 19. I played a pack rim. Was lucky enough to meet this guy Don. He was able to get a sponsorship, play on his team. Got to play against really good competition. Played in tournaments in Delano, tournaments in Vegas. So it was really good exposure. But I think it's just being around the game.
Yeah,
being around the game.
Your score, like that's when I first met you. I think you told me what's the most points you've scored in a game?
40 something. Depending, I don't remember anymore. That was back in the day. When we were younger, we wanted the stats, and I think like, oh yeah, it was good. He scored this many points. But as you get older, you get more mature with the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter as much as the result.
Yeah.
I think I would rather trade anything to get the W.
Yeah.
Even if that means I'm sitting on the bench.
Well, every team that you're on, you're the focus, right? So I'm just trying to understand, like, how do you, if you're the focus and you still put up 20 points, you move around, you cut, you do all the fundamental stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to do that. But what that also does is it opens up the court for your teammates.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
For them to be able to, create, for themselves. And obviously, if I can be there and set a back pick for someone to get a cut, I'll do it because, there's a lot of times where, if they're playing man, they'll always have a second guy shadowing, and just recognizing that.
We've played long enough, so I know Rob's game, I know Joe's game.
Yep.
So. Yeah, but funny enough, I mean, a lot of people knows his game, right? Like I have a buddy that they know what he's gonna do. He's gonna run. He's gonna do a lot of fast breaks. He's gonna shoot threes. But sometimes you know it, but then can you stop it? Like can you chase him? No. Like you're gonna have enough stamina. He has a lot of stamina. One of the players that have a lot of stamina.
They just did the Spartan race with Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more now than it was a few months ago. But yeah, I mean, it's part of it, right? I mean, as we get older, we need to be in better shape.
Yeah, but would you say like your endurance is more because you're physically fit, or because it's more like just a mindset of just going for it and just really running?
I think it's a combination of both, but I think it's mainly fitness, right? You have to be fit to do that, because if your mindset is there but your body can't do it, then it doesn't translate. But once your body is in shape and you're capable of doing the things that you want to do, then it makes it that much more difficult. I think recently it's just with having to train for the Spartan race, I think I lost a few pounds. Training for that was much different just because it takes away a lot of the fast twitch muscle, that I had, and more stamina with my muscles. So it's kind of like you have to transition. So now you're in good cardiovascular shape. Now it's shaping it to basketball shape. It's different. Like you could run 10 miles, but you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to play basketball effectively just because you don't have the lateral movement or the fast twitch.
Yeah, that's true. And that not a lot of people like realizes that it's different training, is different skill set, and I mean like muscles working.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I think endurance running is more large muscle groups, whereas basketball is more the small muscle group, fast twitch. You have to do more plyometric stuff, and then the hip thing.
Yeah.
Hip flexor, hip stretches, mobility, being able to go, forward, backward, move laterally. That takes a little bit more.
With your game, do you think one of your main strengths is the 3-point shot or shooting mid range, or more driving it?
Well, here's the funny thing.
All of the above.
Here's the funny thing, right? Like, I learned to do what I do now because of what happened when I was younger. When I was younger, back in my early 20s, late 20s, I would drive to the basket. No problem. I would go in there. I get, I bump bodies, but I kept on twisting my ankle. I was always landing on people, and it got to the point where I either had to stop playing basketball or change my game. And that's when I started, okay, I need to learn how to shoot. And really, you don't see me going inside and driving as much unless there's an open lane.
Yeah.
Right? And so, that's the only reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm not willing to put my body through injury.
Yeah, and you love the game and you want to play longer, right?
Correct.
You don't want to like end your career, and and
Yeah.
we're gonna heal differently now that we're somewhat older, right?
Yeah, definitely. And you can see it too, like in the NBA. You see how players progress from the time they're a rookie all the way to the time when they're almost retired. Look at LeBron. LeBron used to always be driving in, boom. And then now he has a better, more reliable jump shot. There's guys, Michael Jordan did the same thing when he was younger. He would score 30, 40 points a game, but he really didn't do anything in the playoffs.
Mid-range, baby.
Yeah, and then once he started, developing his game, getting older, getting more mature, then it became more effective, and that's how you last longer.
How do you stay so consistent with your shots? Because for me personally, it's a lot of mental. If I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it.
Yep.
But if I'm off, I start
hesitating
and like just not following through. But I know it's for you and a couple of other guys too. It's like Nap, even consistent.
Yeah.
Same. Is it just a confidence thing?
Here's the thing that I've learned.
Just making sure follow through.
No, this is the one thing I learned is that if you want to be a good shooter, you have to have short-term memory. Your last shot, didn't matter to your current possession, right? Whether you made it or you missed, if you have the shot, you take the shot.
Yeah.
You don't, like there's a lot of people like after the game and they tell you, oh yeah, I remember this play and that play. And I said,
No.
I don't really remember it because I'm playing it one possession at a time. If I could see a video, then okay, I can remember it. But during the game and then after the game, I don't think of it like that. Like,
I see.
and
So
then,
when you're off, let's say you're off a couple games.
Yep.
Third game. You don't even think about it.
No, I mean, you just keep working. If you're not being effective
You're not trying
as a
to
shooter,
forms or anything.
no, there's nothing. There's no changing. If anything, if you recognize it, then you use it to your advantage by getting your teammates open, right? If my shot is not going in, I'm gonna drive in, kick it out, drive in, kick it out, or move the ball quicker from the outside. Just you could affect the game in other ways than just shooting.
Do you model your game after anyone now? Like growing up, obviously MJ for me, but not that I can do any of it. Yeah. But now I watch Luka and how he plays so slow and so smart. So I'm like trying to just watch that so I can try to do that. Yep. And I realize sometimes you're doing these moves against the guy who he can't even move. So I'm like juking myself. In reality, you just need to take time.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah. No, I mean, growing up, obviously MJ was the biggest thing growing up. I remember watching him win his first championship, going up against Magic. And then Kobe getting drafted, watching Kobe. I like JJ Redick from college just because, man, he was a
shooter.
Yeah, knockout shooter, man. It's crazy. And you see his mechanics. And I remember seeing a video of him and Coach K back in the day talking about how he gets his shot off so quickly and how before he even gets the ball, he's already knows how to get square to the basket. And that's just something I never really got
I mean, you don't even think about that sometimes.
No. Yeah, but like he said, as soon as he catches the ball, if he sees it coming, he's already square. Or if he's driving, he's gonna take the step so that all he has to do is go up. And I'm like, that's crazy. But those are the things I kind of watch. But at the end of the day, we get old enough, we can't really do that stuff. I mean, we're not gonna go in there and cross someone over and then pull up, from the free throw. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's also the time, a lot of these moves require a lot of time, investments in time, and
yep.
You
I watch a lot of videos. Do you guys watch videos on training?
I do actually.
Yeah.
A lot of training, but I don't really watch the complicated ones. I watch more like the simple moves that are more effective, something more doable, for our game. And like what you said, I mean, we're not going to be doing all these like triple spin move to a 360 dunk on people, right? I mean, I just don't have the capability or the time to strengthen my legs to be able to dunk. It's just not realistic. So
yeah,
I try to watch everyone and try to learn their signature move. I try.
Like a wrestler.
Yeah, Nap's signature move is the Euro. Our league.
Okay.
Yeah, our league.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, right? Because you're around the same guys all the time, whether they're your teammates one season and they're not your teammates the next season.
Right.
You have a tendency to know how everyone plays. So it's like, there's times where, you bring it in the huddle before a game. Like, we really don't have to talk because we already know how the other team plays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All we have to do is just stick with it.
If you run it out on Rob, he's going to go around you. So controlled closeout.
Yeah.
That's what we would always say.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. One of the thing I noticed with his shot, it's always
it's always the same, man.
The same. He goes technically vertically straight, and then just has this straight form. Like it doesn't really bend or anything.
I'm so bad where I'll see KD shoots from here, and then Klay Thompson's right here. Steph Curry seems like it's from right here. So I'm watching all that, and then I realized I just need to do what's comfortable for me.
Yeah. Well, because also Klay Thompson and KD is different pockets. Klay is more he would just move lateral, and he's usually coming from picks and stuff like that.
Yep.
KD usually would kind of post up and he would either turn right or left shoulder. So sometimes it would be coming from here or coming from the other pocket.
And KD's release point is so much higher.
Yes.
Because although he does bring it across his body, his shot is up here.
Yeah.
He's already 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be able to block that? Whereas Klay, I think he shoots more from here, right?
Yeah.
Catch and shoot. If you get him the ball in his pocket.
Someone told me I played with, he was really good. He's like, it doesn't really matter. It's just where the release is It's just the release is the same. It could be from here, it could be from here.
Yes.
The release is always the same.
I agree. That's why. Did you see the NBA players now? They're practicing this this no lift. Is it called no lift shot, where they just get it and then
Yeah.
Because all that matters is this ending part. Like,
but it's different for them when they're athletes like that, because their muscles are different. Their muscle structure is much different than ours.
Yes, I agree.
They're so much different. Those guys have strong core, strong shoulders to be able to just catch. With us, we have to put a little bit more effort into it by using our legs and then more of our shoulders. But yeah, I mean, generally, I think from a shooter's perspective, it's repetition, muscle memory.
So you believe that your shots come in, you're a leg shooter, right?
I think so. Yes. I'm not a jump shooter. I'm more a set. I think I'm a set shooter.
Yeah.
I think jump shooters. Yeah, I think jump shooters. Again, with the injury thing, are more prone to injury because they could land on someone.
True.
The higher you're off the ground, the more likely you are going to land on someone.
Yeah.
Or land wrong.
Dre is jump shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
He jumps.
Yeah.
Really high.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of energy.
Nice
yeah.
That too, right? Like at our age, that's a lot of energy. Like if we're talking about like you said, those simple moves. If you try to make it more more difficult than it has to be, it takes more energy to do it.
Yes, yeah.
And then it takes away from your legs, then it takes away from just, at the end of the game.
Or you can't go back down for defense anymore.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You spend it all on, you kind of have to do a lot of budgeting.
Yeah.
Luckily, it takes, for me to shoot, it's not a lot of energy. I don't really shoot threes.
Yeah.
Mid-range is no energy, really.
Yeah,
I try to save, a set shooter. I just try to save
one-legged.
One-legged
and
thing.
your spot.
Yeah.
You know your spot.
My spot, that's it. I don't really get tired enough. Defense, though,
Yeah. Are we rolling?
I don't know. I think so. I've never met him. I keep hearing good things about him, and then when I met him, I'm like, dude, this guy is really nice.
Yeah.
Really humble dude.
Yep.
I felt like I was just asking him questions. I didn't want to bother him, but he made it seem like, hey,
if you ask him, he'll definitely talk to you.
Yeah.
Give you some pointers, some knowledge. Who was it that asked? I think after the camp,
I asked
you were working.
Yeah,
he was giving you pointers, right?
Yeah, because I was just asking like, hey, how do I work on like my game if I wanted to like do more like off dribble shots?
Yes.
And then I thought he was just gonna talk to me. He's like, oh, let's go, come here.
And that's awesome. I saw that.
When he taught you how to attack the lead foot.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
I wanted to ask him though, like how to play slower, because I talked to Kevin last week. Because sometimes and we were talking about it too, and like ref, like when you play rec versus when you play league.
Mm-hmm.
When you play rec, I'm way better than when I play league.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I play league, it's just not faster. Like I think for me the game is faster, but I need to slow it down, even though it's really not fast.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
And you play the same exact way.
You weren't there though, right? And when we did the clinic were you there?
I was there.
You was there.
Okay. You know how like when you were doing that that drill where like it's 5-on-5 and then like everyone's just really scrambling and kind of like just going all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I feel like sometimes in the league it could be like that. Like your mind's just like so fast and stuff, and sometimes you just got to be able to slow it down and just kind of calm down. Be more organized.
Our first quarter last night was like that when we were down.
You guys scored like 1 point.
No, 0.
No, Joe made 1 free throw, 1 out of 2. I remember.
No, with the
first quarter.
No, it was 0.
No, it was 1.
Are you sure?
It was 1 point because I was sitting there. I think it was.
No, it was second quarter, for sure.
You guys didn't score.
We didn't score in the first because I was like, how embarrassing. And then I'm like, we just need to score 1. And then Joe missed the first free throw.
Yeah, I know.
And then he made the second. I was like, okay, good.
And Joe heard us talking in the back. Like, Joe, come on.
Yeah.
And then he told me after the game. I think he was like, I told myself
that's what I mean. Like it went so fast, like red, and making layups, drawing fouls. It just seemed easy. And you notice when you're in a zone, the game's so slow.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the craziest thing that I can't understand.
Because that's a different level of thinking, I guess. Like I heard that with some athletes where like you just get in the zone. Like
it's slow for you guys because you were always in constant movement. Yes, I don't think you guys ever really took yourselves out of the game. You just kept on playing.
You just kept going.
And then at some point, you guys started making shots.
Yeah.
Because you were missing like open shots.
Yeah.
And then once I think Jake made a couple. You made a couple. Obviously, Joe was the one who really kind of was
for
the catalyst, right? Once that got going,
he's so consistent, and like you too. Like it's to me, he's always in his zone. Like me, I'm very streaky. So if I hit 1, 2, 3, then the rim gets big, then I'm consistent, and I feel like I'm in a zone. Defense, totally different. But on offense, for me, if I feel like I'm missing, it's done. Like I start thinking about other things, but like what you just said earlier, do other things.
Yeah. I think Kobe said something. I saw a clip of him saying that he'd rather shoot like
20
like
shots. He'd
20
rather miss
shots
20 shots than miss
than
7
9 or 7
because he says at least you kept trying. You didn't give up.
Yeah,
That's true.
you didn't. You know,
And that's what
yeah.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, because you start thinking about it, you're
I stop.
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't help you or your team.
Yeah.
Right?
And then when Rob's talking shit to me, let him shoot, motherfucker. Brick. Damn it!
Well, you know,
No, but we go at it all the time.
But during the game, that's what I always do.
I know.
I do the same thing with Jello last
I
time.
know.
I heard a funny story from my cousin. I don't think I can record. Something happened on the Saturday basketball, and I guess Jello was missing his shots and his layups.
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Hey, which training camp did you go to?"
Not Jimmy's.
From Jimmy's camp? Let me see your new skills.
So what'd you learn from Jimmy's camp?
I think
what I learned more is the way that he ran the program in terms of the proper warm up, the proper drills to do, because I think that 5-on-5 or really it's a 4-on-5.
He calls the number.
Correct, exactly. I think that's a good way to learn, because as a team that's learning how to play defense, the first thing you have to do is stop the ball. Second is you have to identify who that fifth person is that's not being guarded, and get between that person and the ball.
You should do that tomorrow night if you guys play.
Yeah, well, it's
Kind of like a mental like exercise, right? Like what he's saying, because there's a disadvantage there because the other person hasn't touched the line.
Exactly.
So when you're going fast, you need to determine that as you're going fast, that who has the advantage and who has the disadvantage. So as a team, you have to collectively figure that out. And it's going in like fast speed.
First priority is stopping the ball.
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do is you have to stop the ball, and then second is recognizing who's not being guarded.
Yeah.
And making sure that that person is not just going to get a free lane to the, or if the person who has the ball doesn't have the ability to pass it, you have to recognize that.
Yeah.
Give him a little bit more space, take away the passing lane until your defender can catch up.
I like these draft leagues. It keep us, it makes us be on our toes because you don't know who the player is. You never really play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the draft league is challenging just because it takes time to develop chemistry, right? I mean, I played with Kevin, I played with Jay. We've all played with each other, but not all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. And so kind of learning how each other plays in that setting is different. And then knowing that the other team knows how you guys play already. How do you beat that? That's like, Adam, I'm not even sure if that's really a physical ability that you could do, but it's more mental, learning how to work the space.
And it's crazy because like you can be in the right mind, but then you need to somewhat collectively do the same. And that's kind of like the challenge for most of the teams. On paper, some of the teams are definitely more skilled, but they can't put it together.
Yeah.
And in our league, most of the teams are technically equal talent, right?
Yeah.
Some are better shooters, but they lack at this, and another player may be good at this. But as a team, you need to figure out what you're strong at and play that.
Correct.
But sometimes it never happens throughout the span of the
That's what we're
season.
yeah.
the season.
No, that's the challenging part, and I think that's why the league is so competitive, right? Is that a team might seem like they have the clear advantage, but it doesn't necessarily.
Like our first few games, the spacing was not where it should be. It would be a couple of guys right next to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's his favorite spot too. So it's like we're all trying to like figure out everyone's.
Yeah. It's a lot of giving too, because you may be in the same team with another person that plays a certain spot the same way you do, but they may be better at it, or they may be the only thing that they know, and you probably can do another thing.
Right.
So sometimes
that's what we did ours. Like I know where Joe's gonna be.
Yeah.
And I play with Jake and pick up games and stuff. But Carlo, I haven't really played with Carlo, so we're trying to figure out. For me, like where he likes. I tell him to shoot all the time. Get to your spot. Yeah, mid range, which is kind of like my shot. So like take mid range.
He's a set shooter too. Get the ball in his hand.
Who?
Carlo. If
Carlo,
he's
yeah.
open, he'll
Bueno.
take it. He can make it. He can knock
Oh
it
yeah,
down.
yeah. He positions in the middle and
Exactly.
Then,
He doesn't do anything that he can't do.
Mm-hmm.
That's difficult, right? For someone to defend.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get them to a spot where they're not comfortable, but
Yeah.
he knows that's where he is, and he'll just kind of work around.
Yeah. He's gonna try to get there.
Exactly.
You know, and if it doesn't get it, it's cool. If he
Exactly.
gets it though, he will shoot it. Right.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Yeah.
Leave him open, he'll knock it down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No. Definitely, it's part of it. Part of like knowing who the players are,
Yeah.
personnel, and stuff like that. So.
Other than obviously you, who do you think in our league is technically like a deadly shooter?
I mean, Joe's one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nap. The only way to defend Nap, I think, is to not let him shoot the three. Run out on him, make him drive on fast breaks. I know. I played with him enough that he's gonna do that Euro, and you have to know how to slide over and stop the Euro.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Nap is knockdown shooter. Anyone can be a knockdown shooter. Anyone can get hot and make shots,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But
He's pretty consistent though.
Yeah,
And
very
he has that
consistent.
same form.
Same thing.
Like he kind of slightly fades away,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? And then just has a straight.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah.
Exactly. That
pretty
short corner
consistent.
three.
Yeah.
That's
I've
his
asked him a
specialty.
couple times, "Can you teach me the Euro?" And he won't do it.
Sometimes
I'm like,
maybe
for
it's
real.
it just happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I play with him so much that you tend to you have to know their tendency. I've learned his tendencies.
Before I moved, he wasn't like that. I moved away.
Mhm.
Came back 3 years later. I'm like, Nap? Deadly shooter, Euro. Like, wow.
Yeah.
He really worked on his game. Same with Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jello is a good player. I just think that he needs to learn to pick his spots, learn when to stop and when to go. He's just going 100 miles per hour each possession is not gonna translate.
It could be like
He's improved though.
Yeah.
It could be what he's experiencing too, with slowing the game down and just feeling a little like fast and
Yep.
stuff.
And then when he talks, I think it's more for himself to motivate himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It gives
he
him
talks to himself.
confidence.
Yeah. Although sometimes we go back and forth, man. It's all good. I mean, I know him. So
We know
I'm like, okay, nothing there, nothing malicious.
Nothing is ever personal.
No,
like in
not
this
on the
league.
court, no.
Not on the court.
You guys bumped into each other yesterday.
Yes.
It was so freaking loud.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is.
A couple of times he held me and he pulled me back. I was like, okay, and then I saw him coming down. I'm like, okay, this time I'm gonna make him feel it a little bit. So I did, and then the referee called the charge. I'm like, all right, at least I got it back. But then after that, everything kind of calmed down, and that was I think Joe mentioned something about it. He was like walking on the baseline. Like, ooh.
It was loud. It's like it felt like a perfect spot where like it's like you slapped a butt cheek, like a wet butt cheek. Like I don't even know if I'm supposed to have that.
I
on
didn't do
here.
that. But
You're a
yeah, I
big
mean,
sumo wrestler.
no, I think it was.
Yeah, it's just loud.
Man, it was a hard collision.
I have a video of it actually. I should have just.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we should like slap it on this.
Well, John can show the video right here.
No, because I heard it. Like I was like,
You're on there on the call.
yeah, I was like, damn, that's a pretty loud.
So, okay, who plays you? I think as
Gives
far
you a
as
hard
guarding
time.
you one-on-one, who's the kind of like gives you?
Dude, freaking Mike Gabriel. Whenever I play against a team that has Mike Gabriel, he's always on me. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I'm just a shooter. That's all I'm going to do. All I got to do is just pull him away, from the key. But Mike's one of them. Obviously Oliver, just because of his physicality. And then they put Dre on me last. I think you guys put Dre on me last game we played.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Then Jello, the younger guys, man. I don't know why they're putting younger guys on me. I'm like, dude, but that's and then obviously anyone bigger, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean it depends. It depends on the game, right? I mean, like I said, I'm not.
It's hard though because like with him, so we put Dre on him. Just talking about the other league, right?
Yep.
Like the play-in.
Yep.
Right. But we were aware that if he was to burn like Dre, like we had like contingency plans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like we're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, we're gonna have a help
Yep.
D. So when you're that like you're the main target, like it's not just one. Like there's like backups there.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned earlier. There's always a second guy shadowing, right?
Yeah.
And I recognize that as a player. I'm always going to have a primary defender. I don't know why no one plays zone anymore. Everyone's playing man now. So I know I'm going to have a primary defender. As soon as I make a move to the basket, another guy will come. And I tell my players, if that person comes, you're going to be open. Get to that spot because that's going to be the soft spot. That's where you attack. And you just, everyone has to just be on the same page and say, okay, if that person rotates over to help, there's going to be an open spot, and then just be there.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm going to shoot over 2 players. If anything, I'll pass it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You're very unselfish.
Yeah, and sometimes the offense, like when someone's making a play like that or a read, it's always nice to just be patient, right?
Yep.
Like you don't always have to like kind of move and stuff, and you kind of just gotta kind of let the play unfold and move when you have to move.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Or else like you'll technically like the plan would be kind of like done for because they know what you're doing.
Exactly. I mean, they always say like when you run a fast break, you always have to fill a lane. Same thing with the regular offense. You have to fill an open spot. That's a soft spot. The guard or whoever has the ball has to recognize that and either pass it there or because what's going to happen is if you make that pass, that person makes a shot. The next time, if you go that same route, that second shadowing defender might not want to come out. Then you have, then there's no more help. Then they have to adjust. Then you'll get your open spots. Yeah, stuff like that. So, I mean, it's part of the game.
Yeah. Ron's downloading all this info.
I'm taking notes. Not for this. How to guard you. Okay, play man and get my.
That's why he made this. That's why he invited you.
Right, exactly.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of the 5th Quarter podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe.